Yep.
It's 7:02, Mayor.
Good evening. Welcome to the South River Mayor and Borough Council meeting of July the 19th of the year 2021. Calling this meeting to order. Statement of notice of publication, Borough Clerk.
In compliance with Chapter 231 of Public Law of 1975, notice of this meeting was given by way of annual notice filed with the Borough Clerk, the Home News Tribune, the Borough website, the Criminal Justice Building at 61 Main Street, South River, and posted on the bulletin board in the Borough South River Municipal Building on July 16th, 2021.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mayor Krenzel,
Here.
Councilwoman Ballas,
Here.
Councilman Siula,
Here.
Councilman Gidgey,
Here.
Councilman Grzebski,
Here.
Councilwoman Mira. Here.
Please rise for the pledge of the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. As you can see, we are in person. This is the first time in a year and a half that we're able to do this. And of course, we start off with the glitch, since there's a problem with the camera. So we'll work on that. Sal knows what he's doing, and I'm sure he'll fix it for our next meeting. The first thing is some housekeeping. I'd like to have a motion to accept the resignation from Councilman Raymond Effinger.
Motion on the floor. Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Gindi, seconded by Mr. Siula. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? The ayes have it. We have received 3 names from the Republican organization as to fill the vacancy of Mr. Effinger. I will call now for a vote for a nomination. There needs to be a nomination and a second.
I nominate Jason Oliver for council for remaining of this year.
Second.
There has been a nomination. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll close the nominations. We will have a resolution or
We need a vote.
a vote.
Yes.
Right, yes. Is there an official resolution for this or just a simple vote? Councilman-elect, well, not Councilman-elect yet, but Mr. Oliveira has been nominated. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? The ayes have it. Congratulations, Mr. Oliveira. It's been a while since we've done one of these, so forgive me. Borough Clerk, be so kind to administer the oath of office to our council nominee.
Repeat after me. I, Jason Oliveira,
I, Jason Oliver,
do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
Do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of New Jersey.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States,
Oh, I'm gonna have to. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the government established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all the duties of the office of
and that I will justly perform all the duties of the office of the member of the Borough Council of the Borough of South River,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Yeah.
You'll have Mr. Eppinger's previous seat. And if you have a few comments, you can make a few comments now if you wish.
Thank you, Mayor. First and foremost, I would like to thank the the Mayor and Council for the support for the remainder of the year. I'd also like to congratulate the Eppinger family on beginning a new chapter in life. I know it wasn't easy for Mr. Eppinger, but he will be missed. And to the Borough residents, one of the things that, as I was sitting reflecting on what I wanted to discuss at this meeting, I was having lunch with my associate director this morning, or this afternoon, and last week I had a whole play of what I wanted to discuss. And today, she's like, you gotta get to your roots. And one of the things that I really pride myself on with my students, my staff, is I'm a big fan of Stephen Covey. And you guys will be able to see, I usually have stuff with him all over the place. And one of his books that I really enjoy is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of the habits that he states is, seek first to understand, then to be understood. My job for the rest of the year to fill Mr. Eppinger's role is to understand the issues that are, working, what's not working, and then once we have the information, I look forward to bringing new ideas to the borough. Change at times is required, and I think I'm a firm believer that complacency is a killer. So thank you again for everyone. I look forward to working with each and every one of the council members, and again, I can't thank everyone enough.
We will now accept nominations for council president.
I nominate Councilman Tony Seula.
Okay, there needs to also be a second for that.
Second.
Okay, we have it made and seconded. Are there any others? Hearing none, we'll have a vote on same. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it. Congratulations, you are now our council president.
Thank you.
Many a person desires to be council president. It is not as easy as it has looked over the years. Mr. Eppinger was a very good council president. And you can also, and I will ask everyone to kill their telephones because things are going back and forth, and it can be annoying. But you have a chance to say a few comments. A few.
A few is correct. It's just going to be, I'd like to thank the council for their support. And I know it was very large shoes to be filled. And I will do my best to fill those shoes. Thank you.
Okay, very good. The meeting today is because last week's meeting, we had a Zoom failure. It just was not going to work, and there were problems with our technology. It does happen. Anybody who's been on Zoom meetings or team meetings knows it happens. So, technology is a wonderful thing, but sometimes it can be nasty. Just ask poor Sal there who's recording with his iPhone. So this meeting is on the light side. There are no proclamations, honor awards, presentations, no executive session, no agenda session. The ordinances for second reading are going to be on the August 2nd meeting. That is, of course, with the cannabis and the parking are the two big ones there. We will introduce 2 readings, however, today, simply because we want to move on one of them, and since there were 2, we might as well move on to the second one also. So I will ask for an ordinance first reading by title only, ordinance 2021-11.
An ordinance of the Borough of South River, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, proposing amendment to Chapter 72, Article 2, Subchapter 72-7, currently reserved as Fire Committee of the Borough Code of the Borough of South River.
Okay. May I have the...
Mayor, I'd like to move that the council pass ordinance 2021-11 on its first reading by title only, and that the clerk be authorized to publish the same as required by law for a second reading and public hearing to be held at a meeting at 7 p.m. on August 2nd, 2021, in the council chambers of the Criminal Justice Building at 61 Main Street, South River, New Jersey.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Seula, seconded by Mrs. Ballas. Roll call.
Councilwoman Ballas?
Yes.
Council President Seola?
Yes.
Councilman Ginty?
Yes.
Councilman
Yes.
Gertenski? Thank you. Councilwoman Mira?
Yes.
And Councilman Olivera?
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on to the second ordinance by first reading, 2021-12. Mrs. Minnick.
An ordinance amending an ordinance fixing the salary ranges of certain borough officers and employees in the Borough of South River.
Okay. Your pleasure on the ordinance.
Mayor, I'll move that the council pass ordinance 2021-12 on its first reading by title only, and the clerk be authorized to publish the same as is required by law, and the second reading and public hearing to be held at 7 p.m. on August 2nd, 2021, in the council chambers of the Criminal Justice Building located at 61 Main Street, South River, New Jersey.
Second that.
Motion has been made by Mr. Seula, seconded by Mr. Gindi. Roll call.
Councilwoman Ballas?
Yes.
Council President Seola?
Yes.
Councilman Ginty?
Yes.
Councilman Gertenski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mira?
Yes.
And Councilman Olivera?
Yes.
Thank you. We'll revisit both ordinances on August the 2nd. We do have our reports, as we traditionally do. Our engineer is here. Hello, sir. Raj.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everybody. Nice to be back in the building. I did not update this report because it was only a week later. The 2020 and 21 DOT local aid project with the curb and sidewalk program was all submitted to the DOT for review. They have 30 days to give us permission to go out to bid. As that time frame rolls around, we will check with them, we will pick a bid date and put the project out to bid. I think we have about 9 participants in the curb and sidewalk program as of this time. Michelle, who's been administrating it, has asked me what to do from this point forward. I said, start creating a wait list. With that time, once we receive bids, if there's any fallout, or if you just want to add those to the program, we will. Whatever your choices, we will do. The 2022 state aid programs, we submitted that to the DOT. It's for Appleby Avenue, Morningside, and 5th Street. Substation work is going along very well, and as is well number 2. When I checked on it for this report, the well was drilled, the casings are in, and they were redeveloping the well, which is where they push water in and out of it to try and clear up the aquifer or the soils around the screen down at the bottom. And then we'll start working on the test pumping. So everything seems to be working well. It's not on my report, but the DOT, Safe Streets to Schools, Councilwoman Mira and I are still in touch with each other, and if at any point there's a decision on what to do, we'll do our best to administrate that and get it into this state.
Okay, very good. All right. Any questions for Mr. Koch?
I have a question, Bruce.
Yes.
The 2020 DOT, we have the drainage issue on Wilcox on that. When did we add that? Was that added because we had extra money? I thought it was only streets.
I don't recall, I seem to recall it's been on there for the run, but I can look into that and get back to you, try to give you a better idea of when.
My only reason of asking was because previously I had also asked about the drainage issue on Prentice and Olszewski. And
Yes, I
I thought
believe.
that was in allowed to be on the DOT program, that's why.
No, I don't think that was it. This year, there were only 3, you were limited to only 3 roads. Where in the past, you could put in for $1 million if a municipality can submit for whatever amount. And in the past, we were either at $1 million or just over $1 million. But this year, the DOT only allowed 3 slots for roadways. Now, I hope that come next year that changes, but I certainly can't assure you that it will. But this was the first, there was no announcement about it. It was just when we went online and saw, and we called them and said, there's only 3 slots to put road names in. So that was when, through the mayor's office administrators, just what are the most expensive ones that we have? That was really, at the time, as I recall what we did, it just said, let's go for the greatest value that we could. We'll see what happens next year with it, but I can look into Wilcox for you and see if I can trace back when we first gave the borough
Yeah.
a letter.
Well, I don't have an issue with the Wilcox being on there. I think we should be fixing the drainage issues that we have on the roads. I just want to keep pressuring and focusing also, mayor and council, to please keep an eye on Prentice and Olszewski. It's summertime now, and it rained 3 days ago, and there's still a huge puddle right there in that intersection. And those residents are concerned, especially in the wintertime when everything freezes over and kids are walking home or to school or anyone on that road. And I had mentioned it before, and I had mentioned it when we discussed roads, so I just want to remind everybody again. That's it.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Koch. Thank you. Mr. Zenga?
And just a few items on the agenda. First one is a resolution accepting a body-worn camera grant from the state of New Jersey for the police department. And the next resolution is authorizing participation in the American Rescue Plan Act and acknowledging the receipt of funds. The borough's portion was $1,651,565.12, of which the first half has been received this year of $825,782.56. The second round will be received a year later, which is next June of 2022.
Anything for Mr. Zenga?
Mr. Zenga, would it be possible to please get a printed budget for this upcoming fiscal year?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you. Mrs. Zara, good to see you in person.
Yes, just a few things. Last month, we replaced a hydrant on Sussex Court. Tomorrow, we're replacing one on Reed and Prospect, and next week, one on Cam and Robert. That's-
Anything for Mr. Soros? Chief?
Mayor, I only have two things for the agenda. One is the authorization for permanent status for police dispatchers. Our two dispatchers, Sarah Borsley and Kalen Hodney, they've been on the job for about a year now. Both of them have worked in a capacity as dispatcher by themselves at certain times, cover for vacations and for sick time. So I think it's time that we remove the probationary status from them and make them permanent. The second is what Mr. Zanga spoke about regarding the body-worn camera grant. That was put into law last year. It was mandated that June 1st of this year that every uniformed patrol officer in the state of New Jersey be equipped with a body-worn camera. We got different vendors to come in here. We chose the vendor Axon. They gave us a quote of $125,000 for 25 cameras. Our portion of the $58 million that was allotted for all the towns in the state of New Jersey was $87,634. That will be used to spend over the next 5 years in a 5-year agreement. Eventually, it's not going to cover the $125,000 that was quoted to us by Axiom, but eventually, hopefully, the state will come out with another grant to cover the rest of the costs. We've had the training. We're not equipped with them yet. They actually were at the mercy of the company. They came out last week to train a bunch of us, to train trainers, and then eventually you will start seeing those body-worn cameras on the officers within the next few weeks.
We've had them in the past, haven't we?
We've had them in the past, but the company that we had in the past, L3 Communications, we had a problem with those body-worn cameras, and they were subsequently returned.
Hopefully we'll have better luck this time. I'm definitely a champion of them because they protect not only the public, but also the police officers themselves. It's amazing what happens when there's a camera on, how people's stories can change. Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Our new borough clerk, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome again. Anything to report?
I just have the newer mercantile licenses that have been put in. Loving Hands Rescue is pending. Divine Yanni Spa was approved in May. Quality Contractors for construction renovation pending. Legit African Touch, a restaurant pending. DeClace Joyeria They sell jewelry, garments. They were approved actually today. And Lazy Tigers Truck Center LLC, a service garage body shop, they were also approved today. That's all I have there.
Okay, thank you. To our borough attorney, who is taking Andrew's place, Lauren, anything to report?
Nothing to report this evening.
Very good. Mr. Viet.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things, a reminder to the public that starting next week, in the evening hours from 9 o'clock till 7 in the morning, there's going to be repaving of Old Bridge Turnpike from Tice's Lane to Main Street. There'll be one lane open at a time. There also will be paving of Whitehead Avenue from Charter Drive.
Charter to.
Cam.
Cam to,
Cam
right
to,
by, it looks like.
Charter.
Yeah.
Charter.
Right there.
Yeah.
We are doing interviews for the administrative assistant in the utility department. We will have a person for you at the next meeting. We are making slow progress on our webpage. There's so many things from the migration of the old webpage to the new webpage that are wrong, that we've been correcting it. And by next meeting, we'll be doing an in-house webmaster as opposed to a private company, which we've been doing up till now. And the last thing, I just wanted to report that our project with the building department with the part-time employees is proving very successful. Through the end of June, we issued 241 permits for a total of $84,000 and change. We're still a little behind in our break-even point, but we're doing very well. Things are working well. We have a building inspector now doing inspections on Saturdays to help the public so they don't take off time from work. So things are going well. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Any questions for anybody, professional, before we say goodbye to them? Well, say Mr. Koch, but everybody else gets to stay. We'll do our reports of the governing body, liaisons, things like that, as we're reopening, and of course, everything will be more in person. So we'll do it, we'll go, since Mr. Oliver is the new one, we'll have him go last. We'll have, start off with, how about Councilwoman Ballas? We'll start with you. Anything to report on liaisons?
I have nothing to report at this time, but I will be attending the Board of Education meeting this Thursday, so I have to bring you some information from them the next meeting. That's it.
Okay, very good. Then Councilman Seula.
Thank you, Mayor. The Environmental Committee has reviewed numerous tree applications. I believe we're starting to work on those now. Some of them were just being trimmed, some of them were being removed, and we're going forward on that. And Wednesday, I have an EDC meeting, so I can report back on that on August 2nd.
Thank you. Mr. Gindi.
Thank you. Our next planning board meeting, which hopefully will be our last meeting Zoom-wise, is going to be tomorrow. Then our next zoning board meeting is going to be July 27th. And as for the Parks and Rec, they're up and running. They're doing very, very well. The program started on July 7th. It will end on August 6th. As of today, we have 162 registered kids. That's all I have.
Okay, Mr. Kurczynski.
Thank you, Mayor. As our borough engineer had stated, our well is coming along and everything. Like he said, they're trying to flush it right now and activate the aquifer. The casing and the drill rig and everything are out of there, so the next step would be the building, and once the water's clear and everything like that, doing looking into the system, which will ease our water supply from East Brunswick. Right now, I think we have a couple of hydrants that are tagged out and covered and everything too. I believe they're insurance claims that we're waiting for on that. And they started some repair work, I believe, on Thomas Street on Stewart on one of the storm drains. Other than that, things are pretty much, I ask the people to please watch your watering your lawns and everything too. We try to conserve as much as we possibly can. I know it's been extremely hot and everything like that too, but, so we don't go over our allocation and incur a surcharge. With that, that's all I have right now, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilwoman Mara?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I had a few questions for the BA. I know you had told me that we had these summer interns in. I'm just curious as to know what departments each of our summer interns are in.
The summer intern has been working for the finance department, the building department. Not sure if they're working for the clerk yet, they're working for my department also.
Utilities.
There's only one summer intern?
That's correct.
Did we not get any applications or?
No, we didn't.
Okay. Where did we advertise for the summer internship?
I don't know if we did.
So how did we get one summer intern?
We took him, he's an existing summer intern. And he was proved himself last year. He's working for the rec department in the rec program, and we carried him over through that.
Okay, Mr. Zanga, how much money did we put in the budget for summer interns?
I believe it wasn't just for interns, it's part-time help in total, which includes some interns. I believe there was 32,000, I believe.
Okay, I would, guess, state for next year, if we could at least advertise at the high school. I know kids are always looking for summer work. If we could have one summer intern, I think we could have the 5 that we did in previous years. I didn't know that, that's why I asked. I did ask if we had any summer interns, and the mayor had mentioned that we did, but I thought it was way more than just one. Thank you for getting the porta johns at the parks. I'm sure all the kids appreciate it. There's a lot of recreation going on in our parks, and it's nice for them to be able to use that. I also want to thank you for adding the information on the zoning application for the existing driveway. I had brought that up to Carolyn because a resident a few weeks ago had mentioned to me that she got her approval for her driveway application, and it still stated that she couldn't do the dimensions that she wanted, and I kind of tried to reassure her that you could do your existing driveway, but it was good. I'm glad that we were able to add that on the application, because not everybody hears the ordinances that we pass in these meetings, and that was pretty helpful for them to know, because not everybody knows that the existing driveway can be replaced. They look at the ordinance that we have on there, and it says it's gotta be 5 feet away from the property line, it's gotta be this, it's gotta be that, so thank you for adding that. I'm sure it'll help alleviate the questions that we have at the borough when people come in. For my reports, the Board of Health had their rabies clinic on June 19th. They had over 100 animals come in. I want to thank everyone that helped volunteer for that. And we did get about 50 people to register their animals as well. Again, I'm pretty sure everybody's happy that we waived the late fee, but it was good to be able to help a resident out. Hopefully next year we'll be able to go back and do it in January. I know in January we get well over 200, sometimes 300 people come to do their rabies shots for their animals. So hopefully next year we'll go back to normal. My Human Relations Commission, our next meeting is August 2nd at 6:30 in Zoom. Hopefully we will be able to have our meetings in person again. I want to thank the Human Relations and the Food Bank for doing a massive food distribution on June 23rd for our residents. Thanks Sandra Adelino and Beth Lucas, because they were able to get lots of volunteers and lots of people out to come get. We got a truckload of produce, vegetables, vitamins, you name it, milk. So everything was gone within 2 hours. And I want to thank everyone that came out and helped. We really saw that there's still a necessity, even though we think some things are getting back to normal, there's still a big necessity within our town. So I'd like to also congratulate Mr. Ciula for becoming council president. One thing I did admire very much about Mr. Eppinger was that it didn't matter what party we were on, he still felt the need to voice that he was interested in being council president. And I didn't hear anything from anyone on this board as to who you all were going to choose. So, we can all say we are bipartisan, and I hope we continue to try to be, but Mr. Eppinger at least reached out and let me know when he wanted to be council president. And I hope going forward that people can be a little more transparent up here, so thank you. That's it.
August 3rd, Human Relations.
Third?
Yeah, August 2nd is our meeting. August 3rd is
Yes,
Tuesday.
sorry. It's at 6:30 PM on Zoom.
This portion of the agenda is for us to give reports of liaisons and various important matters that we bring up. Later on, we will have a time that we'll talk about other matters that we think might interest people. But if you have something that you'd like to say at this point, sir?
Yeah, I just do have a couple of questions. Chief, I know you mentioned June 1st was the required deadline for the state. So I'm aware that the demand right now for the cameras, of course, there's just no supply. Is the town still in compliance, being that the officers are being trained?
Yes, we are.
Okay, awesome. And then, Lauren, for the August 2nd meeting, I know we have some second ordinances that are coming up. In terms of my voting rights for that, I want to just make sure I'm able to vote on that without any issues.
Yes, as long as you read it and understand what's in front of you, it doesn't matter that you participate in the first reading, you are able to vote in the second reading.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have there.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the agenda to public comments. We do have a public comment as required by state law. You can come forward, ask any questions on any matter concerning the borough. You'll have 10 minutes. Please give your name and address. On first call, second call. Yes, sir.
Good evening, folks. Richard Byrne, 11 Bissett Place, South River. I'd like to thank, or congratulate Councilman Oliveira for being appointed to this board. Congratulate Mr. Ciula for being appointed council president. I tended to irritate Mr. Eppinger, so I'll see how effectively I can irritate you as well. And I just want to speak on, Mrs. Beer was talking about Olszewski and Prentice. Now, I've been working from home since March 18th last year, and I've been taking my dog out for a walk every lunch hour. I've walked every street from Leonardine through Main Street, back and forth, and every day, even when it doesn't rain, there's water at Prentice and Olszewski. Probably because of some pump discharge, maybe when it's not raining, but it's just a natural depression in the terrain, I guess. And yeah, it gets icy in the winter, and it's something that should be granted attention in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on first call, second call, third call?
Motion opposed.
Motion has been made by Mr. Gindi to close.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Ciula. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, the ayes have it. Moving on to consent resolutions. The entire consent resolutions from the previous meeting are not on, nor are any mayoral appointments. So we'll just have the borough clerk read off the consent resolutions, which we will vote on today.
Whereas Resolution 2020-101 authorizes the Borough Council to utilize a consent agenda to adopt various resolutions of a routine and non-controversial nature at one time. Now, therefore, be it is hereby resolved that the below listed resolutions are hereby adopted by the Borough Council in whole as if the same were individually acted upon. These being consent resolutions 191, 193, 195, 198, 200, and 203. May I have a motion to approve said resolutions?
Sorry, did you skip 192?
I don't think so, but
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
please include. Okay, I'm sorry, 191 to 193, 195 to 198, 200, and 203.
Thank
May I have a motion? Thank you, Lauren.
Motion has been made by Mr. Gindi, seconded by Mr. Ciula. Roll call.
Councilwoman Ballas?
Yes.
Council President Ciula?
Yes, with the exception of 203, numbers 20-02358, 21-01567, and 21-00861.
Thank you. Councilman Gindi?
Yes, with the abstention to 203, 21-01277, 01403, 01567.
Thank you. Councilman Gerchinsky?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mira?
Yes.
And Councilman Olivera?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The rest will be voted on on August 2nd with other new ones that we will have. There is no new business, which is essentially the resolutions that would be read separately. So now we arrive at governing body comments for the good and welfare of the borough. These are various comments of what we've been doing for the borough or some ideas as to that can be put out there or whatever is comes across that the governing body member would like to say. Having started one way with B and C and G, we'll go the other way, O, M, and G. So, sorry about that. Anyway, Mr. Olivera.
Now, once again, just want to thank everyone for their continued support. I have not had an opportunity, of course, to meet with the teams that I'll be leading. So I will be reaching out to the chairman or chairwoman of the organizations, and I will have a report at the next meeting for everyone.
Very good then. Councilwoman Mara.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a quick question for you. Will Council President be taking over those liaisons? Is Jason taking over, Councilman Oliver taking over finance? What are we doing with that? There are certain committees that the Council President took. What will Jason be taking?
Basically, the way I asked it is that he's slipping into wherever the various things that Mr. Eppinger was at. And that's what he will slip into.
Well, welcome, Jason. I hope you enjoy this experience that you will be having at least until the end of the year, and hopefully with the election, whatever comes before you. I am hopeful that the next meeting, we will have more residents coming with concerns about certain ordinances. Have we thought about changing our location for the next meeting, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, as we have. I have.
Okay.
In fact, I'm going to address that at our as my comments there. But yes, I have thought about moving this meeting. But well, you'll hear when I make my comments. But yes, I have thought about that.
Okay, and hopefully Sal won't have to hold his video camera with his hand this whole meeting, so I won't take too much time. I hope everybody has a good summer. I know my kids are enjoying the recreation, the summer rec program. It's good to see all the high school kids working hard and interacting with the little ones, so that's all I have, and
Okay.
I hope we change our venue for the August 2nd meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Gerchinsky.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I'd like to thank our public safety workers and everything, our police, fire, and Robert Wood for the job that they do. Also, the DPW, they're out a little bit early because they're on a summertime schedule. Please call and schedule your heavy pickups. Starting to see furniture and what have you by the curb again too. It's not the way things are supposed to be run. Usually you put it out the evening before rather than moving it out there all week. We're trying to conserve a little bit of water. It's been extremely hot. We've had some storms and everything over the past few days and everything, and but still we still want sprinklers going, and we're just trying to keep our consumption down as much as we possibly can. Chief, I don't know whether you have gotten any more applications for crossing guards?
We got one today.
You did get one today, okay?
So all those plugs have been working.
Good. If anyone is interested, please, it's a good part-time job and everything. You may not be called all the time, but it's a few things to help things move along. With that, I'm telling everybody to be careful, be hydrated, watch out for the sun, and be careful out there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Gindi.
Thank you. I gotta thank DPW for the phenomenal job that they have been doing. I know it's been extremely hot. I can't tell you how many times I've rolled up on one of them, hand them a bottle of water, congratulate and thank them for what they're doing for us. Jason Oliveira, I welcome you aboard. I know you're going to be a great asset to this commitment to this board. We are working to get the fireworks show hopefully by the end of this year. I'm waiting to get some straight answers from the Board of Education as well as the superintendent. And stay aware that, be aware that the kids are out and playing. Please drive slowly and carefully. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stevens?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to welcome Jason. Good luck. We'll look forward to working with you. And again, just to reiterate, I'd like to thank all our public safety people. It's hot. I know the guys are out there in full uniform with vests on and turnout gear, and so please thank them when you see them. Our borough workers, they have been doing an exceptional job, as everybody said. It has been very hot. You know, you see them out there, offer them a bottle of water, as I do, and they do appreciate it. It is very, very hot. Next is very important, where we need volunteers. The fire department is aging. We're getting up there. Our average age right now is between 55 and 60 years old. We need young people to come out and volunteer. I know it's a very hard and very long training at our academy, but we need young people. So please, if you think about it, you want to join, there is a cadet program for 14 and 15-year-olds. Come out as a cadet, 16 and 17-year-olds as junior firefighters, and as 18-year-old, you can join a company and we'll send you over to the academy. So please, think about it and come out and join us. Guys down at Firehouse all the time. We can get you an application. And Mayor, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Ballas?
Just a few things. It's good to see everybody. Instead of wearing a mask, it's good to see all your shining, smiley faces. I'd like to welcome Councilman Oliveira. Good luck. It'll be a fun rest of the year, no doubt. Council President Seula, good luck with your new tasks and your added responsibilities. Also, it was good to see, I received my card to fill out my water meter reading. It's so much better. The cards are so much nice and thick, they don't bend. I found it actually in my mailbox. But it doesn't get lost now. And I actually dropped my own on the way here tonight. To the DPW workers and everybody, yes, please, if you see them, take care of them. It's hot, we're gonna have a couple of nice hot days coming up again. So take care of them, your neighbors. I've also noticed, I know it's maybe not a thing for people, but pets that are left out in this heat, just watch out for them. If you see them, some have gotten long, a lot of loose dogs and cats lately, so keep an eye out for them. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Welcome again, Mr. Oliveira. It's quite an honor to be up here. I know sometimes we fight like cats and dogs, but to be somewhere to govern is a great honor and a great responsibility. I know you're going to do a good job. Congratulations again to Mr. Seula there, Council President. Big shoes indeed to fill. Mr. Eppinger was an excellent councilman, and our loss is Woodbridge gain. Now, trying to maneuver and understand the various COVID rulings that come out of Trenton is not an easy task. I know that you may hear on the news, well, the governor said this, but the order said that. And so we have to maneuver and try to figure out what exactly is being said. Our next meeting will be August the 2nd. Where and how may suddenly go up in the air. We may be back on Zoom. The number of COVID cases is increasing. I hope by next Monday we will know if the state orders us back to Zoom or can we be in person and where. I know that on August 2nd there will be 2 ordinances which the public is interested in, and so we may move out of our what seems to be a very small room now that we've got this glass wall here to a larger area, probably the cafetorium. So keep an eye out, especially those that are interested in coming to the meeting. As it stands, it will be in person, but stay tuned. Is there anything else to come before this governing body? Hearing none, I have a motion.
Motion to close?
Motion to close by Mr. Gundy, seconded by Mr. Gurczynski. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? The ayes have it. We'll see you on August 2nd, and I got my hammer.